they think prima facie, that's evil. Look at this. We got people living in the streets and they're holding housing off the market. That's crazy. And we'll say, okay, but notice now in the context of what I'm saying, I hope you can understand why that conclusion could be unwarranted. That once you see the fuller context, that might be exactly what they ought to be doing, right? That's what the original owner might have done if he had more liquid funds, right? He might have just moved it, to continue with that one example. The guy in Boston might have just left his house vacant, paid some people occasionally to come in and flush the toilets and whatever, mow the lawn. But he might have just kept it vacant, moves to Cincinnati, and then occasionally flies back and forth just to, allow for the marketing and whatnot and listing it on Zillow and everything to try to get that good buyer down the road. And that might make sense for him. And I think people would not be calling that guy a monster. I think most people would recognize that, well, yeah, I mean, when he bought the house, that original owner had time to market or whatever. And so that's, there's no reason this guy needs to take a huge haircut just because of his job circumstances. That's kind of unfair. He shouldn't have to eat that. And so notice in that kind of a scenario, he would be, quote, withholding the housing stock from the market for 6 months. And so if you're okay with him doing it and you understand why, well, then why is it what's qualitatively different than if he doesn't have the money to wait? And so he sells to some other company and they sit on the thing for 6 months. And then too, like I say, on top of that, there's plenty of cases where it's not merely the passage of time waiting for a better buyer to come along, but there also are plenty of improvements.